Oh my gosh, everyone. This is the highest I've ever seen the stream. Look at my tiny dam. It looks like it survived. It's a little crooked, but it survived. This is the deepest I've ever seen the stream get. Never even close to this I've seen. Look at this. You can see the evidence of how high it was. It was blasting over this bridge. That trail camera may never work again. I just found that in the water, like 20 feet down there. Yeah, it got so high that it was able to push the tripod off this bridge. Never have I seen the water so high. That's because we had over a foot of snow on the ground and a warm front went through. It got to 55 degrees really fast. It rained 4 inches. And now a cold front went blasting through, so it went from 55 degrees to now 18 degrees within 6 hours. I can't believe it. Wow, and look at all the debris, broken tree tops. Wow. If we walk back on the trail here, there's even a bunch of trees down. Wow, look at the evidence. This was all underwater too. This bridge isn't even meant to handle water. It's only here because there's a big dip here with a puddle in it. Yeah, this whole area was underwater. Wow. Up here is flooded on the trail. Got a tree down here I'm gonna have to cut up. Oh my gosh, look at this section of the trail. A pine tree down. I see at least 2 of them so far. Oh, 3 of them. This is going to take a long time to get these trails back open. I already lost 3 of my trail cameras, I know for a fact. The one I just showed you that I had to pull out of the stream, I had one in a local culvert pipe because I was waiting for it to get an ice dam. You know, I wanted to time-lapse the ice dam. I know for a fact it's going to be taken away by the water. And also the Saco River in Maine. I had a trail camera on a tree next to the river that was about level with my face. That river, on the river gauge, it went up so much. I expect that camera to be underwater. If it stays stuck to the tree, I have no idea. But I do know it's probably going to be destroyed. And because I was trying to film the Saco River freezing, I had it set to make a video every 6 hours. So the flood, we're not really going to get much of anything. Another gigantic tree down across the trail. Oh, this is going to take such a long time to fix. Yep, can't even walk on the trail right there. With all the droughts and bugs, I swear all these forests are dying. They're just getting weaker and weaker. I can't believe how many trees I've lost in the past 2 years. It's so thin. Oh, another one of my trail cameras got hit. It looks like it's okay though. Big old tree just fell over. 4th trail camera to get hit. What the? In one storm, I lost 4 trail cameras because of it. This is a bunch of food I put here on the trail, obviously destroyed in the rain. Animals didn't like it. I put that there days ago. Look at all the debris stuck here against the trail bridge. Oh, another tree hanging over the trail. Another tree, 2 more taken down. I only have a 2-acre property and it looks like it's just destroyed now. Yeah, this one's crooked. Another one down. Another one down. Another one laying across the woods here. Wow, this is gonna take days to get these trails back open. And especially this last summer, because it was so dry, I'm terrified of forest fires happening here in Maine. And now there's so much debris, I'm never gonna get all this out of the woods. Crawling through all the debris pile. I'll be busy chainsawing whenever I can. All right, You see, this area was a big blowdown a couple years ago. You see the trees have already started growing back a few feet tall. See another one laying down right here in front of me. Yeah, I have 2 acres of land here, and I can't believe the damage. Here's another trail I got going back here. I built all these trails for access and for animals could find their way in easier. Here's some sticks. Anything up this trail? That one looks all right. It's still very windy out. More debris above my head. That might be a tree too. I'm gonna have to wait until daylight to evaluate it all. It's because the ground is so muddy. We lost a foot of snow today and it rained 4 inches. The ground is so soft. Lost another tree. I must have lost dozens of them in the woods. And who knows how many more are down that aren't even on the trail. Scary losing so many trees. That's the most water I've ever seen coming out of my basement drain. Look at that. Imagine if the sump pump had to handle that. It would be on every minute. And it's so cold now, it's dropping fast. That's gonna get an ice dam on it eventually. Not now, because it's going so fast. That's gonna be like warm groundwater. Another tree down. I identified a couple widowmakers down on the property. So this way here. Yep, this part of the trail's a bunch of them down there too. Ouch. A little tiny tree is down. I don't think I can chainsaw all this in one day. Wow. This is the trail. Can't see it on the camera yet. There's a lot of them down. This one broke. The only good news is, never gonna run out of firewood, but this is a major fire hazard and I can't get the stuff out of here. You know what? At least a few of these are gonna be on camera falling over. Look at this. This trail camera didn't get smashed. That's my only remaining one. And that's the only one that records sound. I lost 4 trail cameras, maybe even more. Look at this. This tree, broken, stuck. 2 more leaning. One of them's broken. Broken. Look at it back here. More. They're all pushed over sideways. What do you think? Maybe a microburst? Another tree I'm walking over. Wasn't laying here yesterday. Another one down on this trail. I think it's safe to say I've lost at least 3 dozen trees so far. That is 3 dozen substantial trees, not counting all these tiny little ones. This is such a fire hazard. It's not feasible to pull some of these out. They're so far in. As you all might know, I went down to Massachusetts on December 22nd to record the massive storm, massive amount of rain and windstorm they were going to get. Went down there with a chainsaw to help with cutting up trees and draining streets, but turns out I should have stayed here in Maine. Look at all this water. Whole yard is soggy puddles because it went from freezing outside to 50 something degrees in a period of hours. And yeah, Maine got hit really bad. Massachusetts didn't get anything. Should have stayed up here. Oh, another tree is down on the property. I have such a mess to clean up. I'll show you better footage in the morning, but I'm going to show you some more things that are down on the trails. See that broken stump? There's another one in there. Here's a part of the yard, really swampy. There's that well we worked on. It's all winterized. This is the most water I've ever seen flowing here, not even during the spring thaw, ever. See this? I built these boardwalks to go over a muddy area. There has never been a current of water this heavy going through here. If we follow this current of water, it will lead up to... Wow, the current is so strong, it even broke part of this. If I follow this current of water up, it's going to lead to another boardwalk bridge. The only reason I'm showing you guys this at night before I show you in the day is because this water is not going to be going in the day. Look at the amount of water trickling here. I've never seen this much water here. You see, these are cut up from the last storm because I wanted the stream to be able to flow freely and get this water off the property. Look at this. See, we're up there, the cut mark. Stream goes through here. More trees are down. Look at this giant pile of trees. I can't even walk through here. Total number of trees so far is probably around 40. I never had this big clearing here in the middle of the woods. More trees laying down on the ground. Where's that flowing water? That's what I'm trying to get back to. Another tree, all crumpled. You see, there's not much rot in there. Really not any. And these trees just went over. Here's that water I was trying to follow up. That's a really big flow. Look at all the debris in the stream bed too. So let's follow this, see what I gotta clean up eventually. Yeah, massive blow down here in the woods. I'll get to it eventually. I'm just so bummed out because I've only been here living on this property for 2 years. When I got it, yeah, I thought it was the most beautiful forest ever. Every single storm we get, so many trees come down. It's because most of the property, I guess it's because it's a swamp. Look at that tree bent. It's a maple tree. I'm gonna try to save that, get it to stand back up. Even if I have to cut it like 6 feet off the ground, it'll grow back from that. I think the woods is destroyed. One of the strongest storms I've ever experienced here. Well, I didn't experience it, I wasn't here. This is what I came back to. If I got any trail camera videos of this stuff on camera, I'll show you. Do you think this trail camera saw this happening? You think it's on camera? Whatever made it get bent backwards like this? Because this was up facing the trail with the food I put on the bridge. This one came down last year. Tried to make it into a chair. This is the trail. You can see where it goes through right here. Blocked by so many trees. Wow, I've never seen this culvert in the front yard almost at capacity. No blockage, just a lot of flow. That is one really angry culvert. Never seen so much blasting coming out of it. You know, tonight I just had to drive to see the Saco River because it hasn't been this high in years. You can see right here where the water was, it's receding. This is usually a trail to get down to the river. Wow. It flooded its bank so much. Had to come here now because it'll be receded by morning. This is I am like 20 feet at least away from the riverbed. It is violent and loud. All right, everyone, so it's finally morning. I have someone that's gonna come over and help me with a lot of these trees later on in the afternoon. I'm gonna start taking down some of them myself. So we lost at least 40 something trees. Let me show you now that it's daylight. It's 8 degrees out, which it's chilly now, but once I get really working, I'm gonna be happy. So I just walked over one. You see there's one uprooted there. There's one stuck right there. The ones like that are just gonna, I'm literally just gonna cut the base off so the tree isn't connected to the ground anymore to make sure it dies immediately. Then they can be used as firewood when they eventually season. The river is still very high here, the little stream. The dam you can see is completely clogged. It eroded all around it. That'll have to be fixed at some point. The bridge you can see, it stole my tripod last night. Water was gushing over this. There's not supposed to be feet of water here. There's all kinds of blockages and clogs that are gonna have to be removed. Probably in the spring. I got priorities. Lots of trees down other places. The bridge is even broken here. A bunch of branches broken off of this tree. Start stacking those up into a fire pit. Right here's a large tree leaning over. Want to get that off of the other trees so it doesn't kill them or permanently make the other ones crooked. Look at this, whole forest floor is littered with debris. Look at this. Where did this come from? A treetop, another treetop, another treetop. Whole tree here fell over. That's actually really good firewood. That's a maple tree that fell over. Can't even tell really where the trail is. Look at all this broken, dead debris all over the place. I'm really sad about this. When I moved here 2 years ago, this forest looked so nice. Every storm, it seems like the forest is getting thinner and thinner, easier to see through. Lost a lot of the barrier to the road. Yep, right here, the trail has a whole bunch of trees on it. Can't even get through here. The only benefit to this is I'm not gonna freeze. I converted to wood burning this winter because oil prices are so high. Couldn't afford the fuel feasibly if it stays this high. But loving burning wood. This is also a huge fire hazard. There was already so much stuff in the forest on the floor. Now it's even worse. There's no real easy way to pull it out of here. I have thought about, on cold days like this, piling it up and just having large burns in the woods because there could be a forest fire at some point. What was that? Broken, broken, crooked, broken, broken, broken. There's so many trees down. But these ones, there's a trail camera, so maybe we got some cool footage of this stuff coming down. Another tree across the trail. It's always sad when these really healthy looking pine trees come down. Right here, I had 3 more trees come down. Right here, there's already a giant pile of trees that came down in another storm. There's more trees leaning and crooked. All these trees came down in the spring. Got another large tree here completely blocking the trail. The forest floor is already littered with trees from other storms. This gigantic white pine came down in the spring. Tried to make it into a chair. This trail camera probably saw some action of trees falling down because it was aimed at this bridge where I always put food for animals. This is called protein pellets. Animals do not like that. Just sat here for days until it rained. This, you can tell, absolutely flooded. Look at the debris evidence. So much water was going through here. Water table's still really high when it's trickling like this. The forest is an absolute mess. Look at all these trees overhead. Over here, there's more down. The forest is becoming so thin. Like, look at this one above my head. So many above my head. And I really don't know how to take them down. I know how to remove them safely, but I don't know how to take them down without breaking more trees. Whole forest is just destroyed in my eyes. I used to stand here and I used to not be able to see far at all. Whole woods is wide open now. This is kind of cool. Look at all the groundwater. Just froze. I lost 4 more trees right here. All right, everyone, it's now January 6th, 2023, and I know this river flooded a lot a few weeks back, and I'm going to see if my trail cameras are all right. I'm going to be removing them and replacing them with another, because I originally put them here to get this river freezing over in time-lapse, but it never did. Instead, it got warm and raged a whole bunch. So maybe we'll get to see some footage of this really high from the 22nd of last year. All right, everyone, we finally made it down to the river, and this river got to 10 feet last week, or 2 weeks ago, and the trail camera's gone. I knew originally I was going to have lost a bunch of these. If you see the damage all over this tree, I had a trail camera in the same tree during the spring thaw last year. This right here was on camera. A giant iceberg hit this, and it only bent the camera. This time, this is where the camera was. Camera got broken right off the tree, and there's basically a 0% chance we're gonna find it, because 10 feet, this river, it flooded up into these woods. This was underwater. I highly doubt we're gonna find that. It most likely floated away, just like that tripod I showed you in the little stream. I'm gonna walk down the shore a little bit, but I think it's very unlikely we're gonna find this. I'm hoping that it's sunk. That's our only chance at finding it in the rocks. If it floated, it's gone. And it most likely floated the way I had sticks and stuff rigged up around it. Look at how muddy the water is. Active groundwater still coming out of here. And look at this tree. That river was violent. Alright, I just walked for maybe a good 20 minutes down here and back. I knew I wasn't going to find it. I was just hoping that maybe somehow it sunk down and got stuck in the rocks on the edge. It did not. I'm sure that is probably hundreds of miles downstream by now, unless it got stuck in a pile of debris. I highly doubt I'm ever going to find that camera, but this is actually the first storm I've ever lost any. So the trail camera you saw on the tripod that I pulled out of the stream 2 weeks ago, I dried it out and it's working despite being underwater for who knows how long, a couple days. This one is gone. It has a waterproof memory card, so if anyone finds it, someone's probably going to find it eventually along the banks of the river. And I guess they'll get a good time lapse of whatever happened. It should include a time lapse of it partially freezing, then flooding, and maybe getting ripped off a tree. Getting ripped off a tree is most likely not on the camera, since this thing was recording a 10-second clip every 6 hours. All right, a little bit further up where there aren't any trees on the shore, you can see all the grass is pushed over. Right there, the top of that is probably 6 feet above the water. Supposedly the river right now is running at about 2.5 feet. It's really nice to see the water actually flowing. I made videos of this during the drought last year and it got down to 0.3 feet. It was scary, it almost dried up. All right, I just went for a little hike and I just made it to a stream that I have a trail camera on the culvert near the road. And we don't know if the camera's there or not, but look at all this rock that was deposited here over the grass. This little stream flooded its banks. There's a good amount of tree damage over there on the side of the river. That must have happened when the water was already pretty low. The next big storm will take all that debris downstream. All right, we're just about up to the road and look at this. The water was all the way up in here. That stream had to get so high to get up and around these rocks. And honestly, this stream is trickling more than it usually does at the moment. And I could tell, look at these roots. See how the soil's all eroded? There was a giant blast coming through here. Wow, just check out some of these rocks. I can tell this whole rock moved under the force of the water. You can see right here, all the soil got washed away, exposing rocks. It tossed and turned so much stuff. Oh my gosh, the trail camera's still here. It's bent, but it's still here. And it's still facing the culvert for the most part. Look at that, we're gonna get to see something. It's a little bent, but I can't believe that the water didn't take this. Just look at all the grass around it pushed over. Look at the grass here. This whole area had water going by it, but yet the camera's still here. I think we would have found this camera though, assuming it stayed attached to that metal pole. I think it would have just fell over and got stuck, because that metal's like a giant anchor. But here's the culvert pipe. We removed a giant ice dam from this last winter, and I put the camera here because I wanted to get a time lapse of one coming back. You know, the ice dam actually growing in the end of it. If it gets cold again, we'll put another camera out here, definitely. Take a look at the grass all pushed over. This must have been the biggest blast I've ever seen coming out of here. We'll get to see it on the camera as soon as we get home. All right, this camera is still operating, but there's water inside the battery compartment. This one's gonna have to dry out. I imagine this camera got wet because just look at this rock. When the water was coming by really fast, I bet it was hitting this rock and splashing all over the camera. These are waterproof as far as rain, but they are not waterproof if they're underwater, especially water splashing up like that from all directions. Someone must have got into a car crash right around this place. Look at that, smashed headlight. We're gonna go throw that out. I don't know how, but this camera even got a little bit of damage too. I knew I was gonna lose at least a few of my cameras out here, so I've already replaced them, and the newer ones are actually gonna record sound.